This video is brought to you by the official Flashy Instagram. Follow Flashy Magazine for updates on pop culture, reviews on music, and so much more.
Trending today, a provocative, controversial, even offensive performance at the MTV Video Music Awards has everyone talking. Sound familiar? This time, though, it's not Madonna, it's not Britney Spears, it is Miley Cyrus who's exposing, you could say, a side of herself we've never seen before during a performance with Robin Thicke.
It was unwatchable. It was terrible. And I think this is what we call the hoochie card.
That young lady who is 20 is obviously deeply troubled, deeply disturbed, clearly has confidence issues, probably an eating disorder, and I don't think anybody should have put her up on stage. That was disgusting.
Brianna, if this performance had a name, it'd be called Hannah Montana's Musical Meltdown. I watched her performance last night like I watch most horror films, with my hands over my eyes.
On August 25th, 2013, Miley Cyrus infamously got on the VMA stage and gave one of the most controversial televised performances ever. A performance that broke the internet and sparked national outrage from parents as Miley aggressively twerked on Robin Thicke. To say the least, there was an intended shock factor that the majority of people did not see coming. Perhaps it was because of Miley's past, as a role model on Disney's biggest show, Hannah Montana. The performance became a clear indicator that she had outgrew that audience, so much so that after the performance, Disney temporarily discontinued the series. But contrary to popular belief, the VMA performance was so much more than the mindless twerking the media portrayed it to be. In hindsight, it created a cultural shift that brought conversations about femininity, child stardom, and celebrity influence to the forefront. It was an introduction into the adult liberated mind of Miley Cyrus, free from any societal pressures people were putting on her. A feeling that culminated into her third studio album, Bangerz. Let's talk about it. In order to understand the significance of Miley's transformation, we have to start at the beginning. The world was first introduced to Miley through her father, Billy Ray Cyrus, a country artist that was dubbed a one-hit wonder after his breakout song, Achy Breaky Heart. Miley was born on November 23, 1992. After Miley saw a production of the play Mamma Mia, Miley told her father that that's what she wanted to be. Shortly after, she was enrolled into acting and singing classes. At age 11, Miley and her father auditioned for the Disney show Hannah Montana, a children's show that followed the adventures of a young girl who lived a double life, as a normal teen by day, but a major pop star by night. Billy and Miley got the role, and the producers reworked the show to give Miley the same name as her character. Hannah Montana was an instant hit for the Disney network, the premiere of the show giving Disney their highest ratings ever. For the most part, Hannah Montana was a great and funny sitcom that always had a positive message to spread, and Disney was quick to capitalize on the success. They expanded to movies, books, soundtracks, clothing, toys. Soon enough, Hannah Montana became a corporation of its own, with Miley Cyrus's face on all of it. For the 5-year run of the show, Miley was tied heavily to the Disney brand. Even though she was technically older than the majority of the show's target audience, Miley still had to play by the rules. She had to be that great role model people saw on TV, essentially playing a third character off-screen, the one that came from a family with good old Tennessee Christian values and never strayed too far from the understanding of her young audience. But as Miley grew older, so did her curiosity for the adult world, just like any other teenager would. The only difference was that Miley was under the microscope of millions of parents. Every time there would be any type of controversy that risked the Hannah Montana brand, Miley was quick to call out her behavior and apologize. For example, in 2008, a teenager hacked into Miley's Gmail account and released private pictures of her in a bikini. Miley's first response, "I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm not perfect. I never intended for any of this to happen. I'm truly sorry." Later that year, a vanity cover showing Miley wrapped in a towel sparked national outrage from many parents, feeling that the photograph was alluding to her being naked. Miley's first response, I took part in a photo shoot that was supposed to be artistic, and now seeing the photographs and reading the story, I feel so embarrassed. I never intended for any of this to happen, and I apologize. The public was becoming more and more fearful that Miley was going to take the fate of many child stars. The world had just witnessed esteemed child actress Lindsay Lohan go down the life of crime. But Miley still had a corporation on her back that she had to protect. As the show got older, it got harder and harder to keep up the act of being a perfect role model.
Has that bad girl thing in her.
Well, Ellen...
Let's talk about her like she's not here. No, I mean like really naughty, like off the rails. I don't think so.
I think so.
I think this. Like, I'm totally cool with people going out and dancing. So if I'm ever seen out dancing at a club, having fun, like, I don't want people to immediately go, oh, she's on drugs, oh, she's drunk, oh, she's this, because, like, just to put it very clear, and I'll stand by my word, it's not something that I'm afraid to say, because I think that I'm going to sound hypocritical at some point in my life, because, like, drugs are for idiots, and I'm never going to be that person.
6 months later, video footage of her smoking out of a bong was released. It was clear that Miley was trying to give us signs about what was to come. Her music was starting to stride more provocative as well, the lead single from her third studio album ironically being titled Can't Be Tamed. By the time the public heard from Miley again, she had cut off all of her hair and broken off her engagement to Liam Hemsworth. She adopted a whole new personality, or perhaps one that she hid and was waiting to come out. The point is, her brand fiercely changed, from teen idol to wild college girl. Miley also wanted to completely change her sound, to include more hip-hop elements. She collaborated with producers Pharrell Williams, Mike Will, and will.i.am to create her highly anticipated record. Miley's fourth studio album, Bangerz, was released on October 4th, 2013. Miley stated that the album is the full love story of her longtime boyfriend Liam Hemsworth. The album is a roller coaster of emotions, from love songs like Adore You, to breakup songs like Wrecking Ball, and party songs like We Can't Stop. Looking back at the album, I realized that there's an overwhelming positive message about being yourself. But it's not the same type of be yourself preached in Hannah Montana. It's more be yourself in that you shouldn't care about what other people think. Essentially saying screw the societal norms people put on us every day. Just be the realest you. And I think that big positive message and the beauty of the album was really clouded by the provocative nature she tried to express it by. The constant shock factors from the VMAs to the sexual nature of the music videos. It seemed that for a really long time though, people wanted to be mad at Miley for whatever they could. But Bangerz still had an undeniable impact on culture. Multiple studies have been done on the Bangerz era, some of which I'll leave in the description of this video. But they all kind of revolve around the same idea. The legacy of this album is in how she broke norm barriers for how a perceived good girl should act. Miley challenged the idea of Western feminism, and as a result received heavy backlash. To many of the parents that let her into their homes, Miley had in some way violated that trust. Nonetheless, to Miley's perspective, the album was her taking control of her narrative, not being apologetic for the life she wanted to live. That wild life, the one with drugs and sex and money. Regardless of the negative backlash she was going to receive, she just wanted to be free, and she was adamant on not letting the public and media dictate how she used her body. And while to everyone else that may be insanity, to Miley, it's the highest form of authenticity. Thank you so much for watching the insanity of Bangerz. If you would like to support the channel, please hit the subscribe button down below, and also turn on your post notifications so every time I post, you'll be notified. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys with the next video real soon.
And now, back to this bitch that had a lot to say about me the other day in the press. Miley, what's good?